Peace, peace. What's going on? What's going on? Happy Wednesday evening, Wednesday Eve, aka Friday Eve. I think I heard somebody say that once, a Friday Eve. That's hilarious. But um, welcome to another Focus Collective Sessions episode. This is mastering your mindset, and it's coming from a place of understanding your personal power, because a lot of times we don't understand what we actually working with. We really don't. We think we do, but we really don't. And it shows up in our actions every single day. It shows up in our environments every single day. It's a trickle down effect because our outward reality is a reflection of our mindsets and how we implement the things that we think we know every day. And our outward reality is a direct reflection of that. And we put together a projection of ourselves, and then we respond off of that projection based off of the things that I just mentioned. So I want to break down what that looks like. And since a lot of us are not where we want to be, and I'll be the first to be honest about that, and I'm going to break down the why that is and what we can do together, because I'm no better than anyone else. We're doing this together. So as I gain knowledge on how to break certain cycles and break the code of certain matrices and enter another state of reality, I like to share that information. And this is paramount to whatever you're trying to do, because there's a lot of useful ideas and there's a lot of useful information to make certain things tangible by breaking them down smaller pieces. And I want to start off by saying you are powerful. You're very powerful. And a lot of you might say, Trav, you're supposed to say that. You are who you are, and that's how you speak to your people. You're correct. You're correct. But that doesn't make it any less true. It really does not. And you are so much powerful. You are powerful so much so that what you do on a daily basis is a direct result of the personal power you have. That's not it. Your reality is not based off of circumstance. Your reality is not based off of just a catastrophic event. Because a lot of people think I made a mistake. A lot of people think, such and such did something to me, and I had to do this, and that landed me here. Some people might say, "Oh, I lost my job. I lost an incredible opportunity." Somebody may say, "I broke up with, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my fiance, my husband, my wife, and I had to do this to get here." Whatever the circumstance may be, all of that is a lump sum of the experiences that you've had before that to make decisions up until then and up until now. And these are sequences of events based off the mindset that you already have. So they say show me a man at 7, and I'll tell you what man he's going to be as an adult. And that's true, because that's a parable based off, it's true in that sense, but it's true in another sense as well. Speaking on, I can show you a man who makes certain decisions And I can tell you where he's headed in 5 to 7 years, maybe 5 to 10 years, based off of the mindset he has right now. It's the same thing, because you do the best with the knowledge that you have right now in this moment. Even if it's the might be the wrong decision, you felt the need to make the wrong decision. You thought it was necessary to make the wrong decision at that point, even if it was on purpose. If you get what I'm saying, and if not, um, you know, tell me to break it down some more. I love to break it down more. But just going on, reading my notes here, I wanted to say this because it's an extremely important statement to make, to set the precedent of mindset change. If you are in the gutter of life or the basement of reality, it's because of conscious and unconscious decisions made over time. It's the lump sum of decisions that were made over time, and it causes you to utilize your external reality, and that's the feedback that you get based off of a past decision that you've made. And so it becomes a loop of, let me do this, okay, that's the result, let me respond here. And then it becomes a constant swirl, or cycle rather, of action versus reaction. But this speaks to your power, though. I really want you to hear me. This alone tells you how powerful you are, because it takes a continued effort and action to build on your life. And many of us are building in the wrong direction. That's all it is. Because, take for instance, you've landed yourself back at your parents' house after some time. Let's say you're, man, you people frown upon it at 30 years old. Oh, you 30 years old, you still living with your mama at your mama house, yada yada yada. That's not a bad thing as long as you have a plan. But there are certain decisions that were made up until this point to get you to this predicament. And let's say you made a mistake. Let's say you moved in with a significant other that turned out that wasn't the best relationship for you to be in. You realize that after 5, 6, 7 years, and you have nowhere to go because you started building a life with this person. So you go to mom's. So up until before you went to mom's house, when you went back to mom's house, you thought this person was your forever person. You thought this person was your person. You thought this was your soulmate. You were in love, and boom, this person cheats on you. So let me go through this slow, because this is a sticky scenario, because the first thing that someone is going to say is just like, their actions aren't my fault. And you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Their actions are not your fault. They're not your fault. But leading up to that action, there were signs of imbalance that were there, that were ignored. There were signs of maybe no a lack of satisfaction, or there was, and sometimes it you weren't able to see it because maybe it was hidden, maybe you didn't ask the right questions, maybe the space wasn't made for it, and that alone is an action, a decision that's made. So if you are not a safe space for your partner, then that's a conversation that needs to be had. And a lot of times in the relationship, there are certain instances where you can know where you're not a safe space for your significant other, because a lot of information will be left out. There will be a lot of conversations that were not had, and it just takes a emotionally a just not even I'm not even gonna go with the subtitles, but it just takes a certain maturity level. It takes a certain degree of maturity to set the stage, to make sure that certain things are in place, to make sure that you are a safe space, and to read the signs. It takes a certain degree of maturity, and it takes a certain degree of experience to go down that path. But yet and still, those are choices. That is a path that we all go down, whether it happens to us or not. So this happens, and you're done with the relationship. You move back to mom's house. So now we're at square one, so to speak. Now we're at a crossroad. Am I going to A, seek out or attract people similar to the significant other that you just broke up with, and personalities continue to attract certain personality types? Or are you going to change some things within yourself that may attract, and not even just significant others, just people in general that care about you and will pull you up into somebody that you want to be? Because we all need support circles like that, that'll make sure they will call you up into a higher version of yourself. This is the uphill battle that we have to go on. Nipsey Hussle said something that's so true. Man, rest in peace, Nip. And he said, when you're on the journey to success, it's an uphill battle, and you go against gravity for a certain time. You go against gravity until the pull changes direction and it's through your habits. So let's say if you met that person at the club or the bar, right? There are certain personalities that want to be in those certain type of spaces. There are certain personality types that will stay in those spaces for an extended period of time. If that is not what's in alignment with what you want in your life, then maybe that's something or somewhere that you don't want to be. And then if there's people that are if there is people that you want to attract in your life that are in a certain environment, then that's where you go and spend your time. And then you start to interact with these people. Then your ideas start to change. because you start to have certain conversations that you normally would not have at had you been at the bar or the club, or those types of social settings where certain conversations are not had. It's just different. I'm not saying one is better than the other one. I'm just saying if you want different, then we change our environments. So if we are in a different environment with different people, with different ideas, with different thought patterns, with different mindsets, then that causes us to switch our way of thinking, because then our conversations will be different. So our thought processes will be different. Our responses will be different. And so that uphill battle becomes a little bit easier, because it won't be easier, but it will be more manageable, because you'll be used to having certain types of conversations. But what if this is not the case? Let's backpedal here. So what if we are in a situation that you think, or that you believe, that you just were handed some cards of life, and you was like, it just hasn't been in the cards for me, or it's been like this since I was little, or it's I was raised a certain way. My mom had this, or my mom didn't have this, my parents didn't have this, so I can't have it, or it's hard for me to get it because of how I grew up. And this is where transmutation is important. So we're going to get into transmutation. So I talk a lot about, through my my social media, about transmuting throughout the months. Just in the last 6 months, if you scroll, you will see all my lives, things of that nature. Transmutation is key. But for the sake of this conversation, transmute like you play poker. You see a lot of people on TV, like the professional poker, or maybe if you've been in a casino before, you see these people, have these strategies with no type of emotion in their face. None. That's where the word poker face came from. And they don't show any emotion because they don't want to show in their hand, because they want to call each other's bluff. So they don't want anybody to get any type of inkling, notion that they don't have a hand that they necessarily like. So they play the cards in their hand like it was the ones that they wanted the entire time. So life is like that. You don't get to choose the hand that you're dealt, but you can respond to the hand that you have and treat it like this, the hand that you wanted the entire time. How? Through gratitude. First of all, gratitude is the number one hallway to everything. Show gratitude. And then you start to steward over the resources that you have. I know I said this before. I said this on the Sunday Sessions with Rich podcast. If you don't follow him, subscribe to his stuff on YouTube, please do it, because he drops some bombs on us. His guests on there drops those bombs. It's lit over there. Go subscribe. Anyway, I've said that before, maybe in January, that we have to be stewards over what we have. And I've said this before, and I'll say this again. So I've had a conversation, and it struck me during this conversation that I had some months ago, that I started with a question. And I said, if I'm in the kitchen and I have all these resources around me, but I don't have prepared food, do I not have food? I'll say that again. If I'm in the kitchen and I have resources around me, do I not have food? If I don't have any cooked food right now, if I'm in a kitchen fully stocked, do I not have food? And as you get your answer, you think about it and get your answer. Some may say no, because the food doesn't come until you cook it. Some may say yes, because it's all food, just unprepared food. And somebody may be in the middle. But you have the ingredients to make something. You have resources. You have the cooking utensils. You have the apparatuses to put the food in, to heat it up, to cook. And you have the cooking materials, such as like the food, the cheese, the seasonings, the actual the raw foods itself. And you put it all together, and you may cook it, you may mix it, you may season it, and then you create these beautiful dishes that you can enjoy. That's much like life. You have the resources, but sometimes the resources that you have are the only ones that you can get to at this point in time to get better at utilizing your resources. Sometimes more doesn't show up until you're able to steward over what you already have currently. Can you steward? If you want $1 million and you spend your last $10 that you have on something that could have waited, do you think that you're going to get $1 million? Do you think that you deserve $1 million? If you want to buy a house and you consistently do things that harm your credit, we not even on credit yet. Back up. If you want to buy a house and you have to borrow money from people consistently, I'm not even talking about banks or creditors. If you consistently are borrowing money from people because you always down on your luck, do you think that you're going to buy a house anytime soon? I don't care how much you manifest or pray or whatever. Faith without works is dead. That's in the Bible. You will not get to the next stage in life without properly stewarding over what you have. So get in the kitchen of life, right? Get in the kitchen of life and find out what you have. Find out the things that you can use and what goes together that you can put together and make a dish. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Or make a lemon drizzle. Make a lemon vinaigrette with your food, right? Or just eat the lemon, because lemon is a means of sustenance to a certain degree. So if you don't have nothing but the lemon, there you go. You know how to use it. Also, with stewardship comes the chess piece. See, these game masters, these people who created these games, they were put on this earth to teach life lessons. These games weren't put on here just for people's entertainment. These are not means of entertainment. I know that's what it turned into, but these are not means of entertainment. These games have been put here for you to strategize and figure out what games that you are good at, and you can leverage your talents in these games and apply them to real life. Chess. Being 2 or more steps ahead of your opponent is an extremely important skill to have. Also, your perspective on where you are versus where you need to be, what could happen, and the best responses to make accordingly. Going over each scenario in your head so you know that you stack up a few decisions and you think you can make the best one. And then you do it ahead of the issues that you know that will arise so you can stay a few steps ahead. So with that being said, chess is, you know what? Instead of going on this trip, let me save a couple paychecks, because I know if I go on this trip, I'm gonna miss a payment. I know I want to buy a house. I know I want to buy a car. I know I want to buy this. I know I need this. I know I'm saving for Christmas. I know I'm saving for my birthday. I know I'm saving for such and such birthday. I know I want to do something nice for my person. Let me just keep this bread in my pocket for now, because I know there's going to be a problem later. Instead of, oh, I'll deal with that. I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I'll deal with that when it comes. You know, that's not chess. Chess is, you know what? Let me figure out what type of discipline I need. Let me discipline my money so that I can have it work for me wherever I need it down the line. See, we have to be honest with ourselves, right? All of this just basically boils down to honesty, personal honesty. You have to be honest with yourself. And I said this one time in a reel as well. You are either creating, maintaining, or destroying something. So, first, what are you creating, maintaining, and destroying? With that in mind, let's go over here. With that in mind, what am I not allowing in my life so that I can make the best decisions? What decisions that I'm not allowing myself to make so that I can be the best version of myself 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, 7 years from now, 10 years from now, for my kids, for my wife, for my husband, for my cousins, for my aunt, for my mom, you know, for my dad, for my, my guardians, whoever raised me. What am I not allowing to be the best versions of myself for the people who I'm holding the light for, the people who I'm leading, right? Let's go back over here. So creator, maintainer, or destroyer. So based off your experiences, you are doing one of the three, two of the three, or all three. So let's go back over here with this piece. So if you are not allowing yourself to make higher vibrational decisions, in other words, better decisions that will put you in a better position, then you are destroying the possibility of elevation. You're maintaining status quo and you creating more problems. If you are making excuses, sorry, I always say that I'm not using that. I use defending mediocrity. If you are defending your own mediocrity in the way that you speak, then you are maintaining the things that you already know and experience. You're creating a barrier to more. and you're destroying opportunity. I think you got the point. Let's move on. All of this requires a lot of honesty with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. If you lie to yourself, if you're not honest with yourself, if you defend your own mediocrity, if you deny better perspectives, if you deny yourself being open to other perspectives, that's the key. You have to be open to other perspectives, whether you agree or not, because making an enemy out of a different perspective closes the door to open-mindedness. It closes the door to a different experience, and it negates everything you think you know. How? Because I already know what I know, but you don't know what you don't know. That's why it negates what you know. Because I heard something. Shout out Sauce God real quick. Shout out Sauce God. If you don't follow him, if you're into divine mathematics, numerology, and things of that nature, send him a follow on IG. Anyway, he dropped a gem on me yesterday, actually. And he said, we have our decisions, our perspectives are marginalized. We have marginalized perspectives. And that's true because of the perspective that we already have without the checks and balances of another one. So if you deny yourself other perspectives and other possible means of opening possibilities of going in another direction that might be the way to elevate you in the way that you need, then you're marginalizing your own knowledge, which automatically negates what you think you know, because what you know might be 1/2, 1/3, 1/4, 1/5 of the other piece of information that could be a part of the keys that could get you to another level in life. So that's why it's so important to be open-minded. It's important to surround yourself around people that care for you enough to be honest with you and tell you things that you don't want to hear all the time. Nobody likes yes men. Some people do. I'm lying. Some people like yes men, but they're extremely toxic to your growth. They will burn your growth to the ground because yes men will never hold up the mirror in your face. They will never shine light on your blind spots, and they will never tell you what you need to hear. Let that breathe for a minute. And with that being said, shout out to my sister too. I've been having so many good conversations this week. We were talking about this subject as well the other day, and I want to share with what she said as well. Excuse me. I want to share what she said about this. She said, our minds are powerful, but it's essential to wield them wisely, because we manipulate ourselves into thinking that we can't move the way we want because our resources are limited. Or I'm stuck wiping ass all day when I could have been doing such and such. Yes. Okay, let's go. Rewind. Listen, I'm going to take you back to the kitchen. She said, we can manipulate ourselves into thinking we can't move the way we want because our resources are limited. What did I tell you about the kitchen? You have an apparatus to make your food with, whatever that may be, and you have the ingredients. Your ingredients might not be all the ingredients that you want, but you have the ingredients for sustenance. How does this relate to your personal growth? You have inside of you, all that you need to get to the next level. Everybody has it. Whether they use it or not, that's another conversation. Actually, it's part of this conversation. But you have the resources right now to take you to the next level. You have it. But you have to transmute what you think you don't have with what you do have. Play the cards that you were dealt like it was the cards that you wanted the entire time. But instead, we tell ourselves repeatedly that we don't have. We can't move. I can't do this. I don't have this. I can't do this. They holding me back from this. This is holding me back from that. I'm scared to do this. I don't know about that. Oh man, fear the unknown. I don't know how this might turn out, so I might as well not doing anything. Do it anyway because it's safe right here, right now. I got what I need right now. You do have what you need right now to go to the next level, but it's crippling you to step forward. And I did a talk about how y'all remember about the old games where, you know, PlayStation 1 and things of that nature, where the game doesn't render in until you take a step forward. That's how our reality is sometimes. Sometimes we have to step into the unknown for us to see what the next level is like, see what the next part of our environment is like, to see what to do next. Martin Luther King said we don't have to see the next step. We don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the next step. Because the next step will render in. The staircase will eventually reveal itself to you. Just take the next step. Another thing she said is, if we condition our minds to believe that life will improve, it can have an impact on our outlook and actions. That's the power of being optimistic. The power of optimism. It's fostering a positive mindset and believing in the potential for growth and betterment, even during challenging times. That's the power of optimism. Because if you don't open your mind to different possibilities, that puts a damper on your creative mind, because you cannot think creatively under the stress of marginalized thinking and oppressive thoughts like depression and things of that nature. So we have to dig ourselves out of that. Easier said than done, Trav, I know. But it starts small. If you are too stressed, if you cannot change your mindset, and if it's too awkward to talk to yourself right now, because you need to say, I am him, I am her. This is my moment right now. I'm gonna take charge of this. I'm gonna do this instead of this. I choose to think positively about this. This is not it for me. I know I'm destined for greatness. Let me do this right here and do this tomorrow so that I can move the needle on my success. I'm gonna write this book. Let me just write one sentence right now while I'm thinking about it. Oh, I can't get to a laptop. I don't have a computer. I don't have this. I don't have that. You have your phone, don't you? You looking at me right now. You can grab your phone right now and do talk to text. We don't think creatively enough because we've programmed our mind so much that we think that we are not enough. We don't think that we are worthy of the available resources that are at our fingertips right now. Even though everything's within reach, every single thing is within reach. How many times have you said, if in the last 5 years, how is this person making money? How are they making money off this? How is this getting millions of views and I'm stuck sitting here? I must have had I'm in the wrong industry. I'm doing the wrong thing. What am I doing with my life? Nothing. But what am I doing with my life that this person has made it at a half my age and I'm sitting here doing this? It's because they utilize their resources. They found an outlet, they found an opportunity with what they had. The majority of people now are able to capitalize off of their own resources just because they were open-minded enough. They conditioned their minds that life can improve based off of their outlook and actions, not looking for success, but simply enjoying something that they can do with the resources that they have. Enjoy what you're doing. Don't grind and dread your actions. Don't dread your journey out to try to grind for success. Grind culture has us thinking that we have to hate what we do for 10 years. Yeah, you got to hustle. Yes, you have to work hard, but you don't have to work hard doing what you hate doing. That's one thing that I learned from my mother. She worked a job that she didn't necessarily like for a longer time than she wanted, but she did it, and eventually it turned into something that she had a passion for. Now, if we can speed that process up, if you find yourself in a position that you don't like, if you find yourself in a life leading a life that you don't enjoy, transmute it into something that you can enjoy, because everything falls into place when you be intentional about your joy and happiness. But it's utilizing, going back to what we said before, is utilizing the things that we already do. Is telling ourselves that we can't do something. So now what we do is, instead of saying I don't have it, how can I get here? I can't do this. Let me write a plan to see how I can get here. And then you'll be able to fill in the blanks as you go. You can learn as you go. It's okay to not have it all together. It's okay to not know where the next steps are. It's okay to have the plan sort of planned out, but as long as you have a plan and then you can put it together as you're going. Put it together as you're going. But you have to be mad honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. Like, yo, I know what I know. I was a goofball some years ago. I made some goofy decisions with some goofy people doing goofy stuff. But now I'm trying to do something different. So let me not be over here, and let me be over here, and let's see who else is over here. Let me talk to some people. Let me get on social media. You're connected with everybody in this world. You're connected with billions of people. You can get on social groups and just hang out. I know a lot of people may not be as outgoing as others, but you find your group of people, find your tribe, and there are groups of introverts that go out and do stuff. You have to be intentional of where you want to be in your life, or life will just sweep you up and take you, and you just drift in the wind. But you have to be honest with yourself, and then you have to be okay with the details of the honesty. You can't judge yourself based off of who you were, because those decisions don't define who you are. Who you are is your highest potential. Who you are is whoever you want to be, and the plan you can make to get there. That's who you are. Who you are is your constant progression. Who you are is defined by the pure potential that you have running through your veins. Who you are is the sum total of all of your ancestors put together, the information that was gathered through your bloodline thousands of years right up until this point. What are you going to do with that information? Did you know the information? Did you spend time with yourself to figure out what you know? Or have you held those conversations with the elders of your family to figure out the patterns and decision making patterns and break the ones that you think that is that might hinder your success plan or your vision for your family, and then bring new patterns into the tradition, into the DNA? That's another conversation. But that's how DNA works. That's how that bloodline works. You know? So I didn't want to keep you long. Probably was on here longer than I intended on being here, but you are powerful. You have to change your words, change your environment, and then change your habits. You've been doing this all along. You've been saying, oh, no, I ain't got it. You have to catch yourself. Catch yourself affirming things that you don't want to see in your life. You always affirm the things that you are not okay with. Why is that? Why do you affirm things that you aren't okay with? Oh, it is what it is. This is what's happening. You don't have to accept that. You accept what you accept is where you are. But you don't say, oh, I don't have it. You say, I don't have it right now, but I'm working at it. I'm working towards this. I have the resources, but I haven't put it into play yet. I'm making a plan. It's telling the trillions of your cells in your body that you're working at it, that you want to improve, that you want to do better, because they're listening. That's like the universe on a small scale. You've heard of the microcosm before? You're the microcosm to the macrocosm. You are an entire cosmos of a being inside of you. So if you are affirming the wrong stuff, why else do you think that you can't afford anything? Why else do you think that you attract these people in your life? Why else do you think these things keep happening? It's because you're affirming the wrong things. You are saying yes to the wrong things. Probably listening to the wrong music. You probably continuing to eat the terrible foods. You're probably continuing to skip out on the things that will give you better opportunity just because it's not fun right now. It can turn into fun, but you're not giving it an opportunity. So give yourself that opportunity to step in the person that you want to be, because it's not going to appear. It's not going to show up for you. Life is not going to show up for you until you show up. The world is not going to be at peace if you're not at peace in your mind. The world is not going to be at peace for you. I'm peaceful with where I'm at because I know where I'm going. And I don't listen to the noise of the news. I don't care, because it has nothing to do with the vision that I have for my family. It has nothing to do with the Travis name. It has nothing to do with it. Nothing. And the only thing it has to do with is me living in it and my leadership in my family with it. So it's going to be up to me to be to lead a life that creates a brand name for my family that my family can wear. You know, I want to be a brand name. I want to make, I want to help my family be a brand name that my family can wear, my grandchildren can wear. Be proud of this name. So yeah, these wars are going to happen, but unless you're adept at looking at the news and seeing what's happening around behind the veil, it does not pertain to you. And even then, if you are adept enough to figure out what's happening behind the scenes, behind the veil, things of that nature, then that's another conversation of what are you going to do with the information anyway? What are you going to do with that information? Because you have to it's not what you see is not what you get. What you see is what you can use. And that's another gem for what I've talked about, because what you see is nothing but a feedback mechanism for you to use and to build on. So if what you are seeing is something that you are not okay with, so use that information to make a pivot. And I'm done. I'm not gonna take y'all no longer. I was on here an hour. Follow me on social media. You know, Mindset Alchemist, Mindset _ Alchemist on Instagram. You know, Marcus Travis, Facebook, Focus Collective Sessions on YouTube. If you haven't already, like this video, subscribe, tell somebody about it. Tell 2 people about this message. Tell 3 people about what they need to do. Or don't even tell them what they need to do, because people don't want to hear a lecture from you about what they need to be doing. Look, hold the light for the other people around you with love. And they're gonna, once they see you prospering, they're gonna want to follow and they're gonna ask you questions. So tell somebody about this and give me feedback. Tell me how I'm doing, and ask me some questions so we can talk about it. I'm gonna be hosting quick Q&As on social media throughout the week. So if you follow me, we can talk. Let's talk about it. So I want to get into conversation. I want to interact with you so we can elevate together. This is not a one-man band. I don't want to be a one-man band. I want to see people win. I really, really want to see people win on a massive scale. If I can facilitate that in any way, shape, or form, I'll fulfill my purpose and I can check out of here tomorrow with a smile on my face, knowing that I did what I was supposed to do. All right, y'all. Peace, peace. Have a good night and have a good weekend, wherever you at. Kiss your family for me. Kiss your kids, kiss your wife, kiss your husband, kiss somebody. Do something good for somebody. Do a good deed every day. Don't end the day empty-handed with deeds or full-handed. Like, make people smile, make people happy, and it doesn't have to cost anything. Peace.